Hello everybody and welcome back to some more Hearthstone here on the channel. Today we're going to be starting up an arena run, and I think I'm going to go Warlock this time. It's the first arena run that I think we've done, and I've done, I wouldn't say that many before, but I have done some of them. I think the best I've done is like 11 and 3. And we did take a I'll take that one, I like that card. And sometimes just get pretty badly beaten, however. So it is going to be interesting to see how well we can do here. I'll take that. And if you're holding a dragon, we only have one in our hand. Wherever this minion takes damage, I'll deal that damage to your hero. But anyway, the whole thing with Tavern Brawl is, or not Tavern Brawl, but the arena is just trying to do the best that you can with whatever you draft, and then you have 3 defeats to just try to win as many as you can to get a better reward in the game. Just try and restore 3 out to your hero. I think I'll take that to get some board clear. We need some early game. The biggest thing is just drafting the best that you can and hoping that you don't get just destroyed by the opposing, or destroyed by everything that you draw and not being able to get anything really good. Take damage on the 1/1. I'll take Moothless, I like it a lot, and Flame Imp will give us a nice early, or else something to proc the Floating Watcher, so Knife Juggler is good. We're just going to be hoping to get some good draws in here because we have a pretty decent curve so far. I think 4 is the best since we don't have a mech. And Spire gain +2/+2. I'll take a Cavalry Raider. Another Flame Imp. Do we take the Value Boar? I think I'll take a Lowly Squire just in case, because we might be using Mortal Coil quite a bit. Or not Mortal Coil, but Life Tap. Or the arena, I'll take it. Need some turn 3 stuff. I should have taken the turn 3 we had there, probably. And since that's the only thing we can really use, Grim Patron is interesting here. Cards when you transform into a chicken dome with the Gnomish Experimenter. Or the Fell Canyon since we don't have any mechs, so I will take that guy. Take another Flame Imp for some early stuff, and Hellfire for some board clear. Voidwalker, is that the best thing here, or else I'll take the Goblin Stalker and get something for later in the game since we don't have anything 7 or up. We need a 3 mana card. Not willing to take that 3 mana card. Cult Master might be interesting, get us some card draw, but I think I'm going to go with Yeti just to stack up on some solid minions. Volcanic Drake, we have a bunch of things that need dragons for them to be good. And need some turn 3, so we'll take the Worgen. Don't have any Divine Shields, don't really have any Murlocs, so I'm going to take these Shade of Naxxramas, which is just solid overall. And should we finish it off with one of these, or whenever this minion deals damage? Is there that much to your hero? We don't have any buffs, so I'll take the Doomguard. And try to go on with this. We got a deck that's pretty well balanced through until to the late game, where we don't really have anything that's 7 mana or above, but we should be able to do pretty decently with the curve that we have now. Though I've found that I usually have more success when I'm not expecting to have success with a deck than when I am, and for some reason the decks that I don't think are going to do well end up performing pretty decently for us. And it's going to take a bit, and we finally get our opponent, and we'll see what we can do here. Against a priest, not that big on taking on priests, but could be worse. We got a pretty nice curve to start out with the Lowly Squire, then the Knife Juggler and the Raging Worgen for turn 1, 2, and 3, probably. Unless you want to draw a card and use the Lowly Squire's Inspire instead of getting a Knife Juggler out, but I think the Knife Juggler is better for us this early on. And we do actually have a turn 1. We get another Inspire card, which is the Recruiter. We get a 2/2 Squire in our hand every time we use our Life Tap.
Is someone injured?
North Shore Cleric is gonna be a little bit annoying, but we actually should have some stuff that could help us take care of it. I'm not gonna deal damage to it because I'll just heal it and draw a card. And I think we'll use the Raging Worgen next turn, then turn 4 we don't have anything as of yet, so life tap on turn 4 would probably be the optimal thing we could do. He's gonna coin out something for 3 mana and kill off our Knife Juggler. It's not the best for us, and I will trade into that Cleric to keep him getting healed back up. Get the Worgen out. He will probably trade his Silver Hand or Shattered Sun Cleric into it. He puts out a Dark Cultist. Good health and Death Rattle. It's going to be good if we can get him to lose some health. Wrathguard I will put out there. It might lose us some health, but gives us a pretty good minion that we put out for cheap. Lockjaw Tarog. Luckily we don't have too many spells in our hand. We'll trade that, deal 3 damage to us. And we can use a Flame Imp, or I'll use the Floating Watcher because as of yet he can't kill it. We can buff it up 2 times next turn to an 8/8.
Put this apple on your head.
As long as he doesn't kill it, that is. Actually, if he hits it with a knife, he probably can, and he doesn't, so there we go. But he does silence it, so that effect is negated. And that's one less reach when he dies his turn. That cost 5. Put out a Flame Imp on top of it, so we get a couple of pretty decent minions. We're losing some health here. I would love to get him down so we can make this a 9/9 Draconoid Crusher. Holy Nova, kill off our whole board. Alright. And then we have probably a Recruiter. Grim Patron we could put out. I'm thinking the Recruiter is probably the best. Go ahead and put out a Micro Machine, even though it probably won't get buffed up enough to be very useful. And we have a Grim Patron and Draconoid Crusher still in our hand. Neither of which are that great right now. Your opponent's deck, he gets a Yeti. Not the worst thing he could have gotten. And he's going to trade that into the Micro Machine. Doesn't actually kill it. Heals it back up. Might probably hit us with the ooze. Yeah. Alright, so the Giblin's not that great for us. Go ahead and put out the Grim Patron. Hit that one. Kill it off. A 5/1 left. A 2/3 with stealth and a 3/3. We're very close to death. So just gotta hope that he doesn't have any spells or anything that can kill us off, and hope to just take board control if we can. It all depends on what he has in his hand right now with those 3 cards. I'm not going to be able to life tap to get the benefit of this guy. Thought Steal takes 2 of our cards. We don't have anything that could kill us right now in our hand. That's not the best. We're not the best for him. I'm going to get a Twilight Drake. It's not something that could help us very much. I'm going to trade the Giblin into the Yeti and put out the Drake. Not going to use that life tap. And it'll only be a 4/2 because our opponent doesn't really have any cards. Or it's in our hand, we only have 1 card, so it's going to be a pretty easy trade for him, but maybe I should have just used the Draconoid Crusher to get a 6/6 out instead of waiting for something that's probably not going to happen. But it still gives us the opportunity to maybe kill one of his minions off if we get a spell or something. It's going to get him up to 9. Going to be 1 damage short. Aren't going to be able to kill that guy, so we got to hope for something. It's not an imp, so I guess we could draw for something. We get a taunt. It's not going to save us, so we end up losing our first game with this Warlock deck. It's a pretty solid priest build, but go right back in it and try to get a couple of victories here. We're looking good at the beginning, but he was able to just continually clear off our board and get better minions out. With his buffs, trade more efficiently than we could. This time we're going against a druid. And not going to keep either Draconoid Crushers. We go second, which is pretty good because we can put a turn 1 Knife Juggler if we wanted to. And at least we have a dragon in our hand to buff up the Blackwing Technician. Give us a 3/5. Might save for a turn 2 Blackwing Technician instead of a turn 1 Knife Juggler. Yeah, I'm going to save for that. We could have alternatively Knife Juggler, then did a life tap next turn, got us a card, but I'd rather have a pretty good minion out on the board instead. It's going to be a lot better than the Matter Bomber that he has out. That guy out there. And there we go, we get a 3/5 on turn 2. It's going to be hard for him to clear off unless he has a spell that can do that. Next turn we'll probably just end up putting out a Knife Juggler or else drawing a card if we can't draw into anything better.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
He's going to give that +1. Not really going to do much for him except for, yeah, it doesn't really help him that much. To put out a Knife Juggler or a Micro Machine, I'd rather put out the Knife Juggler and try to keep him alive. He stays alive with 1 health. And we have a Knife Juggler on the board, which will probably trade the... Well, he might trade it into either or. Probably the Knife Juggler, however. He gets his own Knife Juggler and doesn't have anything to try to trade it into. He's going to use his Hero Power Hour to probably kill off the Technician. He does. And I got a 4 or 5 Twilight Drake, probably. 4/6. We got a pretty decent hand size, makes it a pretty good minion for turn 4. Next turn we either have the Cavalier or Mukla, which on a Floating Watcher might be interesting for us. Just gonna put out a Sludge, which taunt Death Rattle, somebody 2/1/2 a taunt. Could put out a Shade of Naxxramas though. Should be an interesting card to play. Or else just put out the Floating Watcher and try to buff it up. Yeah, that'll keep him from hitting us a lot. If he wants to trade that into the Drake, that is fine with me. If he attacks us, however, we will be able to buff up that Watcher pretty well. If not, we still likely will as we put out a Shade of Naxxramas and Life Tap maybe next turn.
Well met.
Recruit on Inspire. Gets it down to 1. He's going to get the Inspire out, so maybe the Knife Juggler kills him off, and it does. So he gets pretty lucky there killing that guy. And then probably hits the Floating Watcher himself. Yeah. Alright, we got a Shade of Naxxramas next turn probably. And the Imp would have been very nice with that. Put out that, put out the Imp, just try to get some board control back here. Put us down pretty low. We're not really... This deck's kind of struggling so far. Probably on the fact that we're just not being able to get the momentum where we can keep all of our Inspire / creatures that get better the more damage we take minions. We can't keep them alive as long. And we're not drawing into any of our spells that would help us clear off the board of the opposition.
Reporting for duty.
He's able to kill off the Micro Machine without even hitting it. He's down to 6. A Hellfire would be very nice right now, but I don't think we've seen one yet so far. And we end up getting a Flame Imp, so unless we can draw into that Hellfire, nope. Alright. And once again, we end up getting a pretty quick loss here. Just not really getting much momentum at all. Hop back in, see if we can get some last minute victories here. I was really optimistic about this deck, but like I said earlier, a lot of times the ones that you're optimistic about that I'm doing the worst. You need to be able to get that momentum in order to win with this one, I think. Valera might actually be pretty decent for this. Get a couple of Flame Imps and a Spider Tank, and a Wrathguard. I'll definitely take that. To start out, we get a 1, 2, 3. And then an extra 1 mana minion that does damage to us, which could be very nice if we can get a Floating Watcher or something out. You draw into a Floating Watcher and then coin it out turn 3 and use both of these to buff it up pretty well. That would be very nice for us. He ends up getting an Angry Chicken, alright. Unless she is able to buff it up, then I don't think the Angry Chicken's really going to be much of a problem. I'll go ahead and put out both of the Flame Imps to start out with. This gets us a couple of decent turn 1 minions, some board control. Try to get that early momentum that we're talking about. And hope they don't have anything really to answer it. Along with the Wrathguard, that has the potential to get us a lot of board control, but pretty low on health, which is a little scary, but at the same time, it's a Warlock deck, which is basically the MO of a Warlock is taking damage in order to do damage. It's not able to combo out the Defias Ringleader, which is very good for us. Probably, I don't know if we go face, I don't know if it's worthwhile even attacking the Angry Chicken. Just glad he wasn't able to get the combo on that and get a couple of cards that could clear off both of our imps. Play this guy. Just hit him for 6 damage. You could trade into the Wrathguard if you wanted to, but I don't have a problem with keeping both the imps alive if he wants to go after the Wrathguard. We're in a really nice position here unless he has something in his hand that could stop it, like a big taunt, which you probably can't get out on turn 3, or an AoE, which I don't think rogues have unless they have a weapon for Blade Flurry. Dragonhawk Rider might take that out with one of the imps. Probably will, because it is more valuable than the imps to him. That keeps the Angry Chicken alive. Kind of thinking about killing the Angry Chicken, but it's not really that worthwhile to us. Do we go for the 3-4 or the Inspire with card draw? Next turn we have this with 3 cards in our hand, makes it a 4-4. Hit it for 4, not too afraid of the Angry Chicken. Get a 3-4 on the board, not gonna bother with the Lowly Squire as of yet. Would have made the Twilight Drake potentially better this turn, but not really more worthwhile than using the Spider Tank. He still is not able to do that combo. I don't know if he knows what the combo actually does, or you have to play another card before you can use it, but so far it's been pretty good for us. We can actually kill that off, keep him alive, use a Micro Machine, get the Lily Squire out, and Micro Machine's out of his kill range unless he wants to use both the dagger and the chicken to kill it off. But you'd think he would rather take out the 3-1 with the chicken, unless he wants to just stop the Micro Machine's momentum. We also have the Lowly Squire, which will gain 1 attack every time we use our life tap. In this position we probably will. Almost to the point where we can use the Draconoid Crusher to buff it up to a 9-9. Which would be very good for us. I'm not going to play the Twilight Drake, and we don't really have any cards in our hand as of yet. And he's going to poison his blade up, and who's he going to hit? He's going to keep going face, alright. So we got some really good trades on the board. He does trade the Angry Chicken into that. Not really trades because none of it would kill what we have on the board. And we get a Doom Guard for later on. Get a life tap. Get a Chillwind Yeti, which would have been nice if we had one more mana.
We're using real swords.
Kill that off.
Real swords.
Keep the Micro Machine alive and hit him for 7 damage. So he needs to really make a good play here, or else he's gonna be dead to what we have on the board. Even if not, we have the Draconoid Crusher in our back pocket. Which that turn actually doesn't really bother me because we can put out the 9/9. Do some interesting stuff with Knife Juggler, but I'm just gonna put out the Surefire. Unless he has a taunt or a way to get rid of that, he is dead. That's the exact amount of damage we need. And finally able to use the Crusher, and this looks like it might be the good game that we've been waiting for.
I am the blade.
Curses of Balloon is going to put him out of range. Unless we can do some crazy stuff with the Knife Juggler. Which, I don't think I have anything with charge. This would get a lot of health, but it's not really worth it. I'm just gonna flood the board with the Knife Juggler.
One day, I'll be a real knight.
And get him down pretty close. We're in a position that unless he has another Vanish, there's nothing he can really do. And even if he does, we still have enough minions in our hand to where we could probably do what it takes to kill him anyway. And get a Dust Devil, which is very good for us if we needed it. Except I don't think he has anything to save him, and if he did, he probably would have already used it, and he does not. So there we go. At least we're able to cap off a win on the third match. Still have a chance to get a pretty decent run here. But I'm not going to use that. Just kill them off, and there we go. So 1-3 so far. And I'm going to go ahead and end this here and do the next part on the next time, and hopefully just do a little bit better. Get a couple more wins, maybe even break even. Until then, thank you all for watching, and hope to see you next time.